Not want the opportunity to pass while I was here in Texas before this great audience, and particularly with so many young people in the audience, both here and in the other hall and outside, without giving you an impression of what I've seen of the country in these past few weeks, as from time to time I visited states all over this nation. It's a very different impression than you see night after night on that television screen. It's a very different impression than you may see even when you see coverage of rallies that we've had. For example, on the television screen, if you saw what happened in Florida when we were there, you would have seen a few hundred over on the side trying to shout down the President of the United States with four-letter words, trying to engage in that kind of conduct, which I think many Americans have grave question about. And so you get an impression as you see that. One night you see a bombing or a burning. A bank 2 days ago, 10 miles from my home in California, near the University of California at Irvine campus, burned senselessly, no reason at all. You see violence. You hear hecklers, not there for the purpose simply of trying to learn, but trying to shout down a speaker, the president, anybody else who happens to come. And the impression is created when you see that the violent few are really a majority of American youth, and that they are probably the leaders of the future of this country. Well, I have a different view. I have been around this country. I have talked to students. I have seen them at meetings in great numbers, and I can tell you that the violent few that you see on your TV screens, they are not a majority American youth today, and they will not be the leaders of America tomorrow. I want to tell you what I think about American youth. I believe in them. I have faith in the young people. It's an idealistic young generation. They care. They care about peace in the world, and they care about it at home. They care about those who don't have the chance that they have. They want this country to be a better country. They aren't satisfied with things as they are. And that's what we want from our younger generation. We don't want them simply to ape what we've done and what we have said. That is to their credit. And they're going to be great leaders of this country, but also America's youth, the great majority, recognize that the greatness of America is that over 190 years we've had a lot of changes in this country, and that in a country that provides a method for peaceful change, there is no cause that justifies resort to violence and violent change. And to the young people, I want to say something to you, just to you if I could for a moment. Sometimes you must wonder about your country. You hear about how we're not liked abroad, that our foreign policy is a fascist policy or an imperialist policy. You've seen the signs. You hear about the situations in the home in the United States, about all the things that are wrong, the fact that the air isn't clean and the water is poison, and that our system is one that has grave inequities in it, and that the United States of America should be held up to scorn to other nations of the world. Let me tell you what the truth is. There are some things wrong about this country. We make mistakes abroad, we make them at home. But as we look at the things that are wrong, and we should look at them and we should correct them, let's also stand up and talk about what's right about the United States of America. I'll tell you what's right. As I traveled over the country, I was very proud of the fact that whether it was in a communist country, Yugoslavia, Romania, or in non-communist country, hundreds of thousands of people came out to cheer for the President of the United States. Why? Because they know that while the United States is the strongest nation in the world, to our credit, they have nothing to fear from the United States. We keep our strength, not for the purpose of destroying freedom, but for the purpose of defending it. We will not use it to break the peace, only to keep the peace. Let's be proud of that. And here at home, you look over this great country of ours, why is it that people abroad As they look at America, why is it that the traffic's all one way coming here? I'll tell you why. Because they know that this country is rich, yes, and that it's strong, but also that in America there is more freedom, there is more opportunity, there is more progress than in any nation in the world. There is no country in the world, for example, where the president or the leader of that country could do what I have been able to do, to offer to the American people programs in education, programs in health, programs of care for those that are in need on the massive basis and be believed. But because America is rich, because America has produced what it has, we are able now to offer a better life to Americans than any people have ever enjoyed in the history of the world. And so as you consider those things that are wrong, I repeat, remember, what is right about America is that we have the ability to correct what is wrong. We have the idealism to do it. I simply leave this final message with you. My friends in Texas, all over this great state, I've never been prouder of the United States of America than as I've traveled abroad and as I've traveled in this country. This is a great country. We are part of a very great people, and we share a great future. And one of the proofs of that greatness is what's going to happen on November the 3rd. Oh, I don't mean all of you are going to vote the way I want you to vote, but you're going to vote, and you're going to make a decision. I've been often asked, what is the answer to those that try to shout you down in a meeting? Do you shout back? What is the answer to